Sound speeds, and in this video I'm going to be addressing the person that yells that on set. That's right, it's the boom operator, the person that is on the front lines and the sound representative on set, the face of the department, if you will. When I say something like, who are the big four on set to you, you need to have this in mind. Now, keep in mind, there are differences of opinion out there, but in my opinion, the big four on set are the camera operator, the first AC focus puller, the dolly grip, and the boom operator. Now, why do I say those are the big four? Yes, there is the first AD, and there's the director, and there's other people with very important roles. But the reason I call those guys the big four is because as a boom operator, those are your colleagues. Those are the guys that you're standing right on the set with, sharing breath with every single day. And if you make any of them mad, they can make your life very difficult. The camera operator, you got to make sure that you have a good working communication with them all the time, because you have to know what the shot is. So that way you know how close you can get the microphone to the frame and you know exactly what's going on in the shot. The focus puller, they're going to make sure that everything is in focus. And they do have the cine tape, which is the little horns on top that bounce invisible rays to and from whatever it's pointed at to register a distance. And if that happens to be your microphone, well, we'll get into that. And the dolly grip, they move that dolly all over the place. And of course, you can't be in its way, but you still have a job to do. So how is this balance something that we worked out on set? Well, it all starts with rapport. If you don't know the people that you're going to be working with on the show, start with a nice hearty greeting. Go over and greet the camera operator. Go greet the first AC. Greet the dolly grip. Make sure that they know who you are, and that way they know who they're going to be on set with, sharing breath. And that's not it. I mean, there is more to it than just showing up with a good positive attitude. There is, of course, the whole showing up at all. But that's going to be what it takes to impress your sound mixer. I mean, they do say that most of the job is just showing up. Not exactly true with the boom operator. You have to have a little bit more than just the ability to show up on time. And notice I did say on time that time. When you're on set with the big four, though, you are amongst them. And that does mean that you need to act accordingly. Remember, you are the only person on that set that cares anything about sound. Yes, you can argue that maybe the director does, maybe the first AD does, or whatever else. They're not going to care like you do. They're going to sacrifice something if it means getting it for picture at sunset or whatever. They're going to do that. You're the sound representative. You need to make sure that you stay on top of that and work with your sound mixer and sound utility to make sure that you are getting the best results for the sound department. But in a world of picture, how can a sound person go about doing this? It all starts with acknowledging their working relationship together. Obviously, whatever the camera operator points the camera at needs to be in focus, involving the focus puller. And of course, moving the camera in physical space, up, down, left, right, forward, back, that's the responsibility of the dolly grip. And between the three of them, they have a pretty solid team. But you got to make sure that you get your microphone close and that you have a place to stand, especially if you have a DP that likes to light you out of scenes. However, those three people on set can be your biggest allies or your biggest enemies. And I don't really want to say the word enemy. It's just, what else would you call it? If you make them mad, they're not going to work with you. If you make a camera operator mad, for example, if they start to mess up, they could tilt up just to reveal the boom and, of course, get you called out for something. They could also just happen to hold higher headroom just for the sake of doing it. If you're putting a plant down, they might not want to give you the time of day and not want to tell you if it's safe or not. They might even not communicate with you as to what the shot is, leaving you completely in the dark. Not giving you the time of day dooms the boom operator. The first AC, they may say, oh, I need more room on that boom. And if you say no, straight out and argue with them, then that's not exactly a good thing, because if you move into a hallway and have no place to stand, it can be very difficult for you to do your job if you're looking through someone's head. And a first AC that you've made mad is probably not going to do you any favors. They'll most likely throw you to the wolves unless they are a saint. However, if you've made good friends with them and if they've asked for an inch or two on the headroom during a difficult move that happens to push in, keep in mind in most shots, the first AC is trying to keep a razor thin line of sharpness on the actor in exactly the right place. And if the dolly is moving in or out or left or right or whatever the case may be, sometimes they are not able to get that very accurate. in focus. And if you are in the way, they can very easily say, I can't do my job because the boom is in the way. And they're going to say, okay, you need to raise the boom. So go ahead and make friends with them early by saying, absolutely, I'll give you an inch. Now, I know sometimes there's noises and other reasons that you do not want to raise the boom. Let's just say there's air conditioning on and you can't get that shut down and you really need to push that frame as much as you can. But they say that your boom is in the sending tape affecting their focus and the move is very difficult. Then you need to actually make a concession there. You need to go and talk to your mixer and say, I unfortunately need to give it to them. And if I don't give it to them, they're going to end up taking it by complaining to someone, whatever the case may be. You understand where I'm going with this. Obviously, don't embellish, but that's probably going to be what will happen if they're not able to get the shot in focus and it's a difficult move. Now, the dolly grip, they're the person that's moving this dolly all over the place. If they put down dance floor, you need to make sure that you know where that path is going to be. And it's not as simple as looking for marks. They may not be marking every single place possible. They may know that all the way in the back left corner is the one position. They may be sharing a common mark where the front right tire of this particular mark is the same as where the rear tire is when they do the first move. So you need to know where this dolly is going to make sure you avoid it. And I usually use some sort of humor when I say is, okay, so where am I safe over here? Do you come over this far? And if they say, oh yeah, I come over that far. Okay, cool. Is back here safe? Is over here safe? Sometimes I'll even say something like, hey, mind if I share a little office space with you here? Something like that, keeping it light and humorous. My goal whenever I'm on set is to be the person they don't look at and say, oh, geez, it's this sound guy. I like to try to be the guy who they don't dread seeing every single day. Yes, you want to stay in the good graces of the director and first AD and others, but when they say action, they're going to most likely skedaddle off set, leaving you, the boom operator, with the other of the big four, the camera operator, the first AC, and the dolly grip. So you want to make sure you keep in good terms with them, especially because you're the person that is right there on set, sharing breath, and you have your arms over their head. On that note, wear deodorant. That is great sound advice. Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.